guys, buckle up for a brand new episode of Below the Iceberg, the one and only podcast where we talk to real life 2 Comma Club winners. Whether you're a small business owner, an entrepreneur, a wannabe entrepreneur, or you've been in business for a while, you're sure to pick up tidbits of actionable advice from these million-dollar entrepreneurs. Now, if you don't know what a 2 Comma Club winner is, it is where they have built one funnel inside the ClickFunnels software and sold $1 million through just that one funnel, which is absolutely fantastic. In today's episode, I'm really excited to be talking with Allie Bjerk, who unexpectedly catapulted herself into the 2 Comma Club. Now she has achieved 2 awards, and it all started with a $27 digital product. So let's dive in and find out how she achieved it. Okay, so welcome, Allie, to Below the Iceberg.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's awesome to have you here. I want to say a massive congratulations for getting that 2 Comma Club behind you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. So with my guests, I like to do a little bit of digging on their social media profiles to see what they've got going on.
Nice.
It's a good indication to our listeners to show what's achievable with different levels of followers, you know?
Yep.
So I had a little look. I see you've got about 12,000 followers on your Facebook page.
Yep.
Over on Instagram, 24.8K followers.
Yep.
I couldn't find a Facebook group. Do you have a Facebook group?
I do. It has, let me think. I think it's about 3,500 people in that group.
All right, cool. What about YouTube?
I think that's at about 1,300.
Okay, and I couldn't find you on TikTok. Have you got on TikTok yet?
Like 100, yeah.
Awesome.
I am there, but not very aggressively yet. It's on my to-do list, but I haven't focused on it.
Okay, so do you want to tell our listeners exactly what it is that you do?
So my specialty is helping people create tiny offer funnels, which are tiny offers, small offers around $27 that you can use in 3 different ways. You can either scale your business with just tiny offers and only sell passive income products. You can use it to create a funnel off of your tiny offer and sell higher ticket courses, or you can use it to bring in leads for like a high ticket coaching program.
Okay, awesome. So is your business, is it just your brand, your name?
Yes, it is so far. I mean, there are things in the works to have software and a book and all sorts of other stuff, but as of right now, it's just my name.
All right. Okay, cool. So when was it when you actually got the 2 Comma Club?
It was 2000. There's another one up there. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah.
The first one was 2019 and the second one was 2020.
Okay, perfect. So was it a goal to hit the 2 Comma Club?
No, actually, I was kind of snarky about it. Like I didn't even think I wanted it. I thought it was like I don't know. I think all in all, it was like my limiting beliefs. I was like, whatever, I don't even want that thing. Like, that's just a bro marketing thing. I'm not interested in it. And then it happened where I was using ClickFunnels and I was looking at Stripe and looking at PayPal. And I was like, wait a minute, I think I crossed the $1 million mark. And then it happened at Funnel Hacking Live. Like I actually crossed the $1 million mark while I was there.
All right.
So I talked to people and I was like, I just crossed $1 million. Can I like cross the stage? And so it happened really, really fast. And they let me walk to collect my 2 Comma Club award at Funnel Hacking Live in 2018. And I cried for like 2 days straight afterwards, because I don't even think I realized how much it did mean to me to be like a work at home mom and have 3 kids and build a business from nothing and cross $1 million. So it was a lot more significant to me than I thought it was. But I think like my snarkiness about it was probably more resistance than anything, or like pretending I didn't actually want it or talking myself out of wanting it. But it meant a lot when I did get it.
So you see, you're lucky because we had another guest on and he wasn't allowed to walk the stage because he hadn't had the official.
Oh, like that. Maybe they changed the rules after I broke the rules and they had a policy about it or something. But unfortunately, I had a coach who was working for ClickFunnels at the time, so I think she was able to pull a couple strings for me.
All right, okay. So did you have another celebration, or was it?
Yeah, with the Sing It one.
What did you do when you?
I think I went out to dinner with my family to celebrate it. But it was, it's kind of like the second one was a lot more expected than the first one. Like I knew it was coming, and we'd been like, I was a lot more in touch with what my numbers were at that point because we'd been scaling and systemizing everything. So it was kind of like, okay, cool, we did it. And I'm such an achiever, which is probably not a good thing to always have bigger goals. But I was like, okay, we did it. Now what's next? Instead of really celebrating. So that's a really good question. I don't even really remember what we did to celebrate it, but it was exciting.
What about when you did you do like an unboxing video?
Yeah. Yep. Definitely did that. Didn't know it was coming. It came a lot sooner than I expected. The one in 2019 took a while. It was like right at the beginning of COVID when it was going to be shipped out. The second one I got right away, and my kids helped me unbox it, and it was a fun thing.
Awesome. So let's do a little bit of a rewind. I want to take you back to your childhood. So what did your childhood look like? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in northern Minnesota on a lake in the woods. I spent a lot of time playing in the woods. Like I remember playing by myself a lot in the woods, and like I had a great imagination, played all sorts of different things out in nature. Pretty much anytime I was awake, I was outside playing.
And what did you want to be when you grew up?
It varied. For a while, it was an actress. At some point, it was like a singer in a rock band, a veterinarian, something. What else? I think that's about it. Eventually, it shifted into being, once I realized I was artistic, I wanted to be an artist, a graphic designer. So it changed a lot over the years.
So did you go to college?
I did.
And what did you do?
I majored in graphic design and I minored in marketing.
All right. Okay. So when you left college, what did you do next?
I got a job in sales because I graduated in 2008 and everything was crashing and there were like no graphic design jobs around. So I took the only job I could find, which was selling cell phones for AT&T. And I learned a lot about sales and about working in general. And then after doing that for about a year, I finally got a graphic design job working at a print shop and making like $15 an hour in this print shop.
All right. Okay. So when you were doing the sales, was that telephone sales or face-to-face?
Well, it was face-to-face. I was selling telephones, but I was selling telephones face-to-face.
All right. Okay. Like in a phone shop.
Yeah, like a little kiosk in a strip mall, like the most random thing ever. But it was really interesting. I learned a lot about sales in general working there.
Did they give you sales training?
Yep.
And then you moved. So then you got the graphic design job.
Yep.
And how long did you stay there?
Probably about 2 years. And then I got a job still in, working for a marketing agency and a web design agency doing SEO. And I didn't know what SEO was at the time, but they had a job opening for it in a city I wanted to live in. And I went to the interview. The night before the interview, I was Googling, what is search engine optimization? And I bought a course or something online. This is my first exposure to like what we do as experts. And I bought a course and I learned probably more from this course that I bought online than my 4-year education at a university. And I went to the interview and I knew what I was talking about for SEO, even though I'd never done it before. And I got the job. So then that was my first, then I was working for a company that built websites. So I was learning about, internet marketing and I kept coming across lots of courses and stuff after I entered that world.
All right. Okay. So did you do any graphic design for them or?
No, nope. Just SEO. I learned about copywriting and I learned about keywords and search engines and a lot of stuff about social media, blogging. Like that really set the foundation for combining what I learned about graphic design with what I learned about the online world.
All right. Okay. So how long did you stay there for?
Let's see. I think that was probably 3 years. And then my son was born. 2 years and then my son was born.
Okay. So what happened next then?
After my son was born, my priorities shifted really quickly and I started calculating my time for how much I was paying for daycare and how much I hated being away from my kid and realized that again, I was making $17 an hour,
Okay.
but I realized that the company that I was working for was charging like $130 an hour for the work that I was doing. And then I was, getting this much of a cut of it. I was like, wait a minute. Okay. So if I could get my own clients and do SEO on the side and even charge them like $35 an hour, they'd get a deal and I'd make more money and I could stay home. So I like ran all the numbers and I figured it out. And I got a different job that let me work at home for another website design agency doing social media and search engine optimization for a different agency. But I was able to start getting my own clients at the same time that I was working at home for this other agency. So I started stacking the clients.
So when was that then? What year was that?
That was 2012.
Because that's quite
a long time.
That's quite early on though for home working, for a company to let you homework, isn't it?
Yeah. Back in 2000 and what did I say, 2012? That was well before COVID. So people weren't really doing that a whole lot yet.
How did you convince them to let you do that, or was
well, the first company I had asked that I was working for, I was like, I'd really like to keep my son home a couple days a week. Is there any way you could let me even hybrid work from home, knowing that I wanted to start freelancing at the same time? And they're like, nope, sorry, that's not an option. We're not gonna entertain that. That's too much of a can of worms to open for other employees. So I was like, all right, I'm out, then I have to quit. And I had known the CEO of this other company, and it was in a different city, and she knew we had like a long relation or friendship before that. And she knew that I was a good employee, that I was good at what I did. And I just wanted to work at home. And so she was willing to let me do that because they were in a different city. So I was working remotely from a couple hours away.
Right. Okay. So, and while you were doing that, you started getting your own clients.
Mm-hmm.
How did you do that? How did you start that off?
I had a business name. It was my maiden name, which is Fulton. So it was Fulton Marketing and Design was the name of my company. And I just started networking locally, and I was waking up and going to BNI meetings. If anyone's ever heard of BNI,
yeah, we have them in the UK as well.
Oh yeah. Yep. So I'd go there at like 6 a.m. and I'd do my networking spiel and chat with people. And I started getting a few social media clients here and there. And I remember I was traveling with my boss, and we were in Boston for the HubSpot conference, and she came back into the room with her phone and she's like, have you ever heard of Fulton Marketing and Design? And I was like, oh crap. So it was so weird because we were like trapped in a hotel room together, and she had found out that I had been freelancing, and like she was upset about it, and we were very far away from home. And so it was super awkward. And after that, like she didn't say a lot to me for the rest of the trip. Got very awkward very quickly. And once we got home, she was like, hey, do you want to just be done working for us, or do you want to switch to hourly? I'm sure she had concerns about me working on my own stuff instead of working on their stuff, which, was probably accurate. So she ended up saying that she was very religious. So she said, like, I believe this is God's path for you. And this is, if this is what you're called to do, this is what you're called to do. And we want to support you in that. So we're going to help you keep some hours here, wean you off of our clients, and help you like take on your own clients on your own. So it was so gracious of her, and, could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
If had it been my previous job, like they probably would have tried to sue me instead of like supporting me and helping me get clients on my own and go off and do my own thing. So it was like the best outcome that could have happened.
So how long did you carry on with Fulton Marketing?
I think that went until 2015 or 2016. And I started joining Facebook groups and seeing all of these people that were like personal brands. And I'm like, why aren't they using a business name? How are they just doing business as themselves? Like, I don't understand what's happening here, why they don't have, like an agency name to be taken seriously. So I started testing it out in Facebook groups and, marketing myself as myself in these Facebook groups that were popping up full of other entrepreneurs. And this was like way at the beginning of Facebook groups and marketing. And I started doing Facebook ads as my specialty at the time. And I started getting clients just as myself. And I'm like, oh, interesting. So eventually I did away with the Fulton Marketing and Design name and just started going forward with Allie Bjerk.
All right. Okay. So how did you know what you were doing with Facebook ads?
It was a whole spiral of events, like figuring it out, because it was like, I don't know if you've ever read that children's book where it's like, if you give a mouse a cookie, then he's going to want a glass of milk. If he gets a glass of milk, he's going to want to, I don't know, wash his face. And it's like this whole cascade of events.
All right.
For me, it was like, I learned graphic design, and then I learned SEO, and then I learned some website design just from working at a website agency. I started picking up website design, and I realized people weren't getting visitors on their websites. So we had to use social media to get visitors to the website so that the SEO could, complement it. So I learned social media marketing. From there, I learned how to run ads, because social media marketing wasn't enough. We had to learn how to boost the post and get more eyeballs on it by promoting them. And then from there, I was like, well, this isn't working because it's just a website. It's not a sales funnel. And I had discovered Russell Brunson, and he was like, websites don't work. Websites are dead. You need sales funnels. And this was probably, I want to say 2017 or probably 2016. And then I learned how to build funnels for people. So it was like, it just kept adding on, my skill set kept expanding, and it went from just doing graphic design to building Facebook ad campaigns and building funnels for people. But it was all of and writing copy and doing email marketing and all of the things that you learn, my skill set just kept growing.
Okay. So how did you come across Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels?
Probably an ad. Actually, no, that's not true. I noticed in the Facebook groups that I was in, it seemed like there were patterns of people that were super successful, and they were the ones talking about actually making real money, while the rest of us were struggling to make a few $1,000s a month. And then there were people, I think at the time it was Emily Hirsch and Rachel Peterson. And I just kept noticing these names popping up, and they seemed so much more successful than everybody else. So I was like, what's their secret? What are they doing that's different than everyone else? And I would dig into their links. And now what I know is called funnel hacking. I was trying to figure out what they were doing that was different. And I noticed every single one of these people that seemed like they were making more money than everyone else, they were using ClickFunnels. So I was like, okay, what is this ClickFunnels? If I use ClickFunnels, will I make more money? And then I just fell into the culture of what ClickFunnels is, and, fell in love with the education and the people and the community.
All right. So when did you build what was your first funnel that you built?
Oh, it was so bad. I don't remember. It was probably, I think I tried to build an application funnel, or it was, a call booking funnel or something. And nobody ever booked a call from it because I didn't market it well, and I didn't use great copy, and there's no hook story offer. It was just a page.
So how did you go from that then to your tiny offers? When did the tiny offers thing come about?
So I launched tiny offers in the very beginning of 2019. And I think it was the beginning. I'm trying to get my years figured out. It might've been 2018. So I had different digital products that I tried to sell, and they didn't work for one reason or another. I think my tiny offer funnel that I created for myself that ended up working, it took 3 different tries to get it to actually work. The first 2 were total flops. So they didn't work. And then I'd set them on the shelf. And I think I tried to design my own funnels in 2017, and then they didn't work. So I'd shelf them and go back to doing client stuff, just because I couldn't get my own stuff to work. And then I had a experience with a client where she pushed through a chargeback on a project that was long completed. And I just remember playing with my son, and he was falling asleep, and my phone lit up, and I didn't get Stripe notifications in those days. So having my phone light up from Stripe, it was really weird. So I was looking at it, and it's your account is going to be debited by $6,000 in the morning. And I'm like, well, I don't have $6,000 in that account. So I knew my account was going to go negative. I didn't have a business savings. I was not prepared for this client to push back a refund without permission and without, even talking to me about it. It was the most horrible thing a client could ever do. But it lit a fire under me to be like, oh my gosh, how am I going to make the impossible happen? How am I going to make this money out of nothing? I didn't have anybody in the pipeline, no outstanding payments I could collect. So I knew I had to make my tiny offer funnel, and it wasn't called a tiny offer in my brain yet, but I had to make this little tiny product that I'd created. I had to make some money from it. So I finally took it seriously and started ads, paid for ads. I'd only run ads for clients, not for myself, really seriously before. So I found a credit card that had like a tiny amount of room on it that I'd been hiding because I was in a lot of debt from investing in coaching programs. And I know a lot of people can probably resonate with that. And I started my ads, and I just remember making my first sale, and I was like, it was a $27 live stream calendar. And I was like, that's definitely an accident. Like, there's no way that person meant to buy the product. They're going to want a refund. Like, they probably think it's horrible. And so I was just watching my email like that. They totally bought it by accident, and they never asked for a refund. They didn't buy it by accident. And then it happened again. And then it happened again and again. And within like, I think the first 2 weeks, it made $10,000 in sales. This tiny offer just kept, and I kept scaling the ads. Like, I'd close my eyes and like double my ad spend, and then it would sell double. You know, I think in those days I was getting like 3 or 4 return on ad spend for what I was spending. And I knew I had to make at least $6,000. So I just kept doubling my ad spend until the profit was more than enough to cover that initial $6K that I was trying to make for myself. So it was like total back against the wall moment of, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. What am I going to do to finally get me to do the thing I'd been wanting to do for a really long time, which is launch my own products. And then it just kept snowballing from there.
So what was the offer, that first one?
It was called Livestream 365. So it was a calendar, a social media calendar of 365 ideas for live streams.
Oh, right. Okay.
People were live streaming in those days. This was like pre-reels and TikTok. And, like the main video format was like longer form live streams.
So who were you targeting that to?
Started with business coaches. And then I just kept getting comments on the ads. Like, would this work for life coaches? Would this work for service providers? Would this work for product sellers? And I'd be like, yes, it would. And then I would design a whole new calendar of 365 ideas for that audience, and I'd put it in the product. So it's a total case of like minimal viable product of like just getting it into the world as fast as I could, and then improving it along the lines, like when people ask me questions, just continuing to add on to the product. Because I think that a lot of people get stuck in that perfectionist mindset creating digital products, like it has to be the best version ever, and it doesn't.
So when you started off with that first one, was it literally just they bought the 27 and that was it?
I had an order bump on there for 37, and that was, I think it was repurposing. It was like how to repurpose your live stream into other types of social media. So it was a training on how to, crop the video or transcribe it and put it on Instagram or repurpose it all over. And then the upsell was how to create a sales funnel from your live streams. So how to use, like, create call to actions and then build a funnel on the back end.
All right. Okay. And how did the upsells, were the upsells selling as well?
Yeah. So I think the average cart value was about $75 to $80 most days.
Right. Okay. So did you get your 2 Comma Club then just from that funnel?
Yes. So one of the two, I scaled it enough that one of the 2 Comma Club is from that funnel. And then the other one is from the coaching program, because so many people are like, oh my gosh, how'd you create this funnel? How are you running the ads? That I turned it into a coaching program. And that was the other.
Oh, right. Okay. So you only did the coaching because people asked for it?
I did not want to. No, I was, again, resistance. Like I actually created an evergreen funnel with a course for like $997. And I had it up and running. And I was like, I'm going to teach people how to build these tiny offer funnels and just sell it on autopilot. Because I did not want to run a coaching program. I didn't think I could. I didn't think I was capable. And I had a friend who stopped me in my tracks. And he's like, Allie, this has to be a group coaching program, and it can't be $997. It has to be $6,000. And I was like, you're crazy. That's never going to happen. Not possible. And he's like, here's the deal. Your webinar just needs a different pitch at the end. He's like, I'm going to do all the tech. I'm going to build everything for you. All you have to do is show up and teach this live on like GoToWebinar or whatever we were using, and then change the pitch at the end. Here's the stack. Here's what you're going to sell. Now go do it. Let's pick a date. And I was like, I don't want to do it. But I feel like every time I hit that resistance and I end up doing the thing, it always turns out well. Like it always is the next level of expansion that I need. So I'm like, okay, fine, I'll try it. It's not going to work, but I'll try it. So I pitched the 6K program, and we did 130K in cash collected sales for that very first launch of this program. And I was like, that was kind of fun. Like I like $27 passive income income coming in, but making a $6,000 sale is really fun too. So then I realized I could do it.
Yeah. So who did you pitch that to, that first webinar? Was that your email list?
Yeah, it was my email list, because I had used a 2-step order form. So I had my email list grew from, probably like 400 people to 40,000 people over that time period of just growing and scaling this single offer. It got big really fast. So I told people about the webinar, and then people signed up for the webinar. And then from the webinar, then I pitched the program, and then people could either buy or book a call with me to ask questions about the group program. So I think it was all like Instagram promotion and Facebook, and then my email list.
All right. Okay. So at this point, did you have a team, or was it just you?
No, it was pretty much me. I had hired someone probably about 3 months into selling the tiny offers myself, to do email management and customer support, because I was dying. And I didn't want it, like I was avoiding my email because people would ask questions or they couldn't log in, or, they're just the product questions that people have. And I realized, like, okay, if I'm avoiding doing this, and it's not the experience that I want people to have, like I want them to get an answer to their question right away, I need to bring in somebody else to do this for me, because I was like drowning. So I hired email management, and she ended up being also like more of a personal assistant who helps me gets things scheduled and manages my calendar and manages my customer service. So it was like my first and greatest hire.
So who was the one that got you to do the webinar? Was it a mentor, or was it your coach?
No, it was my friend Bjerk, and he just saw it, and his specialty was group programs, and his specialty was doing live webinars. So he saw it and he was like, can't do it, girl. Like, you have to actually make a big deal of this. You can't just hide behind the funnel. This could be really big. You need to actually make it big. And I just didn't, it's like the belief, I didn't have any proof that I was capable of doing it. So I didn't think it was possible. So he really pushed me off the ledge, and I'm super grateful for him for having the the wherewithal to make me do it. And then he ended up working on my team for a while, helping me scale it and grow a sales team, and like all of the things that can come with growing a group program.
All right. Okay. So how big's your team now?
I have 3 full-time and 3 contractors.
All right. Okay. So when you went to Funnel Hacking Live, when you realized you first got the first one, was that your first Funnel Hacking Live, or had you been before?
No, it was my third, actually technically second. So it was 2 years removed from the one that I had previously gone to. So I think I went to one, we'll say it was like 2016 when I first started getting interested in the funnel world. And I just remember like sitting in the crowd and being like, oh my gosh, this world is crazy. Like, look at those people up on the stage and they're making millions of dollars. And I don't know how this is possible. The second year, I had invested in coaching, and I was like, I believed it was possible, but I was so far in debt that I couldn't even afford a ticket to Funnel Hacking Live, and I couldn't afford the hotel, and I couldn't go because I didn't have the money to go. And then the third year, I was walking across the stage collecting the 2 Comma Club award. Right. So it can happen super fast.
Super fast. Yeah. So how many people have you had in your coaching, to the tiny offer coaching now?
I think about, I want to say like 500 or 600 through the couple years of running it.
Okay. And what sort of results are they getting?
The same. It's totally like the 3 tracks that I mentioned. Some people are using it to sell only digital products, and they've like built and grown a digital product empire. And some people are using it to sell a 997 course, and some are using it for leads for their highest ticket. So the results vary, but people have been able to do incredible things. Like one woman was able to leave a marriage because she was only staying in it because she didn't have money, and now she's able to work at home and grow a beautiful life for her kids and run a business because she's selling. Now she knows how to run ads and knows how to, build offers. So there's like that type of result. And then there are people who have scaled to multiple millions because they are liquidating their ad spend, and they're able to keep reaching more and more people and make more and more impact. So it's been really cool. I think the coolest thing for me is just that aha moment for a lot of people of when the same one that I had of like, wait, a stranger just paid me money. I mean, even if it's only $27, it's like, holy buckets, the world, it like opens up a whole new viewpoint of I paid for an ad. they bought the product, they don't know me, and now they can own it and like go through and learn without never talking to me. It's like a total mindset shift of like, wow, I don't have to work hard to make money. I can create something and then it sells on its own. That aha for me, like when I can see that light bulb go off for students, it's like their world they can't unsee it. Like they'll never go backwards once they know it's possible.
Yeah. So when did you start the Facebook group, and how does that work in with everything else?
Probably not as well as it could, admittedly. Like I do a lot with ads, and I'm fairly hands off, organic marketing wise. Like I do most of my advertising through paid media. So that group, gosh, I want to say that group started in probably 2015. So it's been around for a while, but I put a little bit more focus into it earlier this year when I wasn't sure what Facebook ads were going to do with all the iOS 14 updates. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't putting all of my eggs in one advertising basket. So I was doing more in the group, and I did see, where your attention goes, your energy flows, right? So when I put more attention onto it, it did start generating a lot of leads. But awesome. Then I went back to ads.
So ads. What do you think's been your biggest achievement so far?
I think getting to this point with having 3 kids at home, like it's always been really important to me to not hire a nanny and not, be out of touch of how my kids are doing. I pick them up every day, I drop them off at school every day. And so I think getting to this point where I have a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, or 8-year-old, 10-year-old, 8-year-old, and 5-year-old, and all 3 of them are going to be in school starting in the fall for the first time in a decade of running my own business. So like getting to the point where all of the kids are going to be at school and I'm going to be able to work 5 days a week, it feels like an accomplishment that I made it this far. So there's that. But I think just all of the challenges of like, when I first started, I was afraid to go on video calls. Like when I was a graphic designer and somebody wanted to interview me on Skype, I was like, sorry, I'm not going to do video. Like I just didn't do it. So my first hurdle was like getting comfortable on video. And then the hurdle was getting comfortable on a live stream, and then getting comfortable on a GoToWebinar. And it's like the biggest accomplishment isn't just one accomplishment, but like the commitment to always move beyond my comfort zone, I think is the biggest reflection of just like making that decision and going for it. And by whatever means it takes to get over that discomfort that I have in getting comfortable, being uncomfortable, that's probably the biggest thing.
Okay, cool. So do you have a morning routine that you do?
I do. By accident, I get up at I don't set an alarm or anything anymore. I got up at 3:30 this morning. I usually get up at like 3:30 or 4 or sometimes 4:35, depending on when. So I don't know why. I just get so excited to like get up and start working. But so I wake up and I brew coffee, and then I journal for a while. I read a book, and then I'll work out in the morning. I'm trying to get more into working out in the morning. I'll do some stuff to like keep my house together in the morning, like fold laundry or pick up the kitchen. And then usually at that point, we're starting our day. But every morning, like that's the thing that helps me pre-frame the day for success, is that journaling and reading something.
Do you go to bed really, really early?
Probably not early enough. It's usually about like 9:30 or 10. If I get about 6 hours of sleep. No, it's not enough. And I feel like in a different season of my life, there will be more sleep, but this is what's working for now.
So what's your focus for the rest of this year?
So I am working on writing a book. The book is going to be called Decision Maker, because that's something that like an identity I had to adopt for myself, is becoming the decision maker in my business and in my life, and just going after things once I decide that's what I want to accomplish. So I'm working on writing a book, which is a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. So that's been great. I'm working on creating a platform for education for people. Like I really want to make info products a lot more accessible to all of the markets, like make things mass market. So it's going to be a platform that brings in experts who can teach something live on Zoom, and people can sign up kind of like tiny offer prices, like a live workshop, but they can attend and not get a pitch. It's not like you attend a webinar to learn something knowing there's a pitch coming in. It's going to be all just educational workshops on very specific things. So somebody could come in and teach like TikTok ads, or they could teach active campaign, or, you know, even how to have a better relationship, or whatever the topic is, bringing people in to teach live and sell it for tiny offer prices. Building that platform right now. So
cool. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's called Course of Action, and it's not live yet, but it's like the thing I'm most excited about.
Awesome. Sounds good. Okay. Yeah. I have one last question for you.
All right.
If you're going to be an animal for 24 hours, what would you be and why?
That's such a good question. I think I would be a horse, because like, I don't know what it is, but when I watch horses like run, like all out sprint, it makes me cry every time. So I don't know what the weird connection is that I have with horses, but like, I think that's my spirit animal for sure. Like, if you ever watch them run on a beach, like there are TikTok videos of horses just running. I don't know why I get
magical. It looks magical when
yeah.
Awesome. So thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
If anybody wants to find out more about tiny offers, where do they need to go?
If you go to alliebjerk.com, that's the hub for everything that I talk about and create. And I spend most of my social media time on Instagram. So my username is Allie Bjerk over there.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Polly.
Thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please take a moment to leave us a 5-star review and subscribe to the podcast on your podcast software. It really helps us rank the podcast and get more listeners. And if you're over on YouTube, please subscribe and hit the bell. Every Friday, 8 a.m. GMT, we release a brand new episode. And until then, have a good one.